Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a huge, multi-faith mystery about cosmic events and human destiny. We're going to take a subject that's been debated for literally thousands of years and peel it back, layer by layer. We'll be looking at this through the lens of science, theology, and the universe itself, just to figure out how celestial bodies might actually be pulling the strings in our daily lives. Okay, let's kick things off with a genuinely provocative question, one that almost never gets asked. Pitru Dosha is this incredibly famous astrological condition in Hindu tradition, which is basically an ancestral debt usually tied to being born on a new moon. But wait, what if you're not Hindu? Like if a Muslim or a Christian is born under a completely dark sky on a new moon, does this condition still apply? Do they somehow inherit this cosmic ancestral debt too? Well, to get to the bottom of this, we actually need to step away from religion entirely for a second. Before we even touch on theology, we gotta objectively define what a new moon actually is in terms of pure astronomy. In Sanskrit, it's known as Amavasya, but on a global scale, it's just a cosmic event that happens every single month. It happens when the sun and the moon align perfectly on the exact same longitude in our sky. And because of that specific positioning, the side of the moon that faces Earth gets cast entirely in shadow. The moon is obviously still there, it's just invisible to us. It's a purely physical, astronomical reality. And here's where the science gets really fascinating. During a new moon, the gravitational forces of both the sun and the moon team up. They pull in the exact same direction, which actually creates spring tides, literally the absolute highest waves in our oceans. Now, just think about this logically for a second. If the moon's gravity is strong enough to physically move billions of gallons of ocean water, what exactly is it doing to us? The human body is like 70% water. So this intense gravitational pull is physically tugging at the fluid inside our very own bodies. It interacts with our nervous systems, and that naturally leads to heightened sensitivity and intensely magnified emotions. Pitru Dosha in Hinduism. So now that we understand the science, let's objectively examine how Hindu theology interprets this intense cosmic energy. In Hinduism, it all comes back to reincarnation, right? The core teaching is that every reincarnated soul shows up carrying three specific debts from past lives. You've got the Dev debt to the gods, the Rishi debt to knowledge and gurus, and finally the Pitru debt, which is owed to your ancestors. And this ancestral debt is profoundly tied to people born on the new moon. The scriptures actually state that the new moon is the sacred day of the ancestors, a day when they draw really close to their descendants. So the idea is that failing to properly honor those ancestors, maybe you skipped some rituals, or perhaps there was some past injustice in your family line, well, that leads to Pitru Dosha. And this isn't just theoretical, it manifests in very real-world struggles. We're talking unexplainable financial instability even when you're working super hard, generational family conflicts, deep unexplained restlessness, and just sudden obstacles popping up in life. Basically, being born on a new moon means you carry this specific karmic weight, and you have to actively work to resolve it. Now, bringing it back to our original question, does this apply to everyone? Well, when you compare the core beliefs side by side, the answer is pretty clear. Pitru Dosha relies entirely on the concepts of reincarnation and karmic debt. Those are foundations that Islam and Christianity simply don't share. They believe in a single earthly life. In Islam, the new moon signifies the start of a holy new month. And in Christianity, especially looking at its Celtic roots, it represents new light and fresh beginnings. So honestly, it's factually incorrect and spiritually inappropriate to apply the Hindu concept of Pitru Dosha to a Muslim or Christian. The concept strictly does not apply. But wait. Don't get me wrong here. Just because the ancestral curse doesn't apply to everyone, it absolutely does not mean the new moon has no effect. Remember the whole thing about the water in our bodies? That cosmic gravity still heavily impacts Muslims and Christians. The energy is exactly the same, it's just the translation that's different. For example, a Muslim born on a new moon might experience immense spiritual power during late-night tahajjud prayers, and maybe feel a natural draw toward mysticism. A Christian born under that exact same dark sky might exhibit extraordinary empathy, this really powerful intuition, and a profound, deep peace-stirring prayer. And that brings us to this one absolutely crucial truth. Gravity does not ask for anyone's belief. It really doesn't. The universe isn't looking down at Earth, checking what religion you practice before applying the laws of physics. The universe only sees energy. So that gravitational pull of the moon acts on the devout believer, the agnostic, and the strict atheist in the exact same physical way. And what's crazy is that modern science completely backs this up. If we step out of the ashram and into a hospital or a lab, the data aligns perfectly with these ancient observations. Studies right out of the Journal of Psychiatric Research show measurable spikes in mental activity during the new and full moons. We literally see higher psychiatric emissions during these lunar phases. Biologically speaking, your pineal gland, that's the part of your brain responsible for melatonin and deep dreaming, goes into hyperdrive. This cosmic alignment is physically altering our brain chemistry. Because of this, regardless of your religious background, if you were born under a dark moon, you're very likely going to share some incredibly specific traits. You probably have a highly sensitive mind with super deep emotions, a really awakened sixth sense, and kind of a mysterious personality that other people find hard to read. You'll likely feel a massive spiritual pull toward whatever faith or philosophy it is you practice. And fascinatingly, even without ever knowing the concept of Pitru Dosha, you might just feel an unexplained, deep connection to your ancestors. It's a completely shared human experience entirely driven by the cosmos. Vedic remedies for dosha. For those of you who do follow Hindu traditions and might be feeling the weight of these symptoms, there are actual practical steps you can take. You can literally harness this intense cosmic energy by following these Vedic rituals. Whether it's offering water and sesame seeds in Pitru Tarpan, lighting a mustard oil lamp under a peepal tree at dusk, or just practicing charity, like feeding the poor or even offering food to crows, which are historically seen as messengers. By doing these grounding practices, you're basically taking what might feel like a heavy astrological curse and flipping it. You're transforming it into your absolute greatest spiritual strength and channeling the gravity of the moon into pure positive action. So, as we wrap up this explainer, it's pretty amazing to see how a single celestial event ripples through science, Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity. It unites us all under the exact same physical laws while still allowing for this beautiful, rich spiritual diversity. So I'm going to leave you with a little something to explore about your own cosmic fingerprint. Do you know exactly what phase the moon was in the day you were born? Were you born under the dark, quiet sky of Amavasya, the bright light of a full moon, or something else entirely? Look it up. You might be surprised by how the universe is pulling at your own tides. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey of understanding, and keep exploring.